The 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Is brought to you by All Pro Roofing. AllProRoofingLLC.com on 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it. All right, sports concepts and rationalizations coming your way. We call it the 10-minute drill. We do it each and every day. Super Bowl, obviously, the lead. We talked a lot about it in the last segment. The Rams are world champions. The playoffs were about as good as you're ever going to get. I mean, you'll never probably get a playoff like that again. The margins in the last 7 playoff games of the NFL season were 7-3, 3-3, 3-3, 3-3.
It seemed like it was kind of it is kind of an odd dynamic from this standpoint, though. For a game to be a 3-point game and the winning touchdown to be scored in the last 2 minutes, it wasn't a great game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a top 10 Super Bowl, even though it had a close score at the end.
My favorite commercials were the ones done by the NFL, so I don't know, the companies that spend all the money, I don't understand. I don't know who they're for. I don't know the names of the companies.
I mean, you didn't like the QVC code just bouncing on the screen?
I didn't know who that was for.
You don't think that's a good utilization of, $1.2 billion or whatever?
Everybody will talk about that.
I guess, but even still, do you know what it was for?
Is it a QCR code or QVC code?
QR code.
QR code.
You guys were all around it.
But still, it's a QR code, but do you know what it was for?
No, do you?
Well, then how can it be effective?
What was it for?
It was for Coinbank, which is like a crypto banking.
So somebody might say, hey, what was that QR code? And they'll go look it up, and then they'll see. But I thought the little puppets were great. I love the little...
I didn't see a lot of it because I was at a function.
Beef, did you like the little puppets?
I found myself spectacularly whelmed by the Super Bowl commercials at large.
They've kind of gotten, people are like, this Larry David one is great. Why? That's Larry David. That's
if you've watched Curb at all, he's doing Larry.
That's Larry being Larry. So that was okay. And then they loved the Sopranos one, which is,
again,
all right, but nothing.
Very current, very topical.
Yeah, nothing spectacular.
I did see the
but I love the Halle
Austin
Berry
Powers one.
I love the Halle Berry Open with the mixing the movies and the regular football in together. I thought that was cool. And then I love the little puppets. So, and the NFL did both of those.
I didn't see much of those sidebar deals because I said I was at a function. I left at halftime, so I missed the entire halftime show. Didn't see any of that. And
halftime show was good. I'm not, obviously
whatever.
For me, it's not, beef.
I loved it.
They were raving about it. But it wasn't. It damn sure wasn't Prince or Michael Jackson good. It was good.
Yeah, the Michael Jackson one predates me. I don't really remember it. The Prince one still is number one for me.
Yeah,
it was spectacular, especially with the rain.
Yeah,
everything about it was incredible.
Yeah, to me that was.
But I thought that was very good.
Bruno Mars also was still above, but this was good. It was again. It's not. I knew a couple of the songs, so I guess that's
all. Look, nothing will ever be worse than the Black Eyed Peas.
Well, look,
that was terrible.
The Sharks were terrible.
They cater the music and the halftime audience to a 30 to 60 audience. It's not
Left Shark is an icon.
Left Shark. But yeah, so I'm sure and everybody had their own opinion, and that's great. It is what it is. I thought this particular Super Bowl halftime, it seemed like it took a long time to set it up, more than normal.
Good for me because I was in transit.
Yeah, they were stalling, I thought, for the halftime. And then I also thought at the end, I've never seen a network get out of a Super Bowl so fast, but they desperate want for some Olympic ratings. Let's dump this thing and get the Olympics on, and everybody will be looking at it, leave their TVs on and maybe watch.
I went, as soon as the clocks went 000, toes up for this cat.
Yeah.
How long did they? Because usually they'll stay with the Super Bowl for half an hour.
Not long.
Really?
It was
less
quick.
than 10 minutes?
They put up an Olympic countdown in 4 minutes, 3 minutes.
Did they even show the whole podium celebration?
They did the podium. Yeah. They got everything through quick, but it wasn't long. Faster. It was not long at all. It was we're out of here. We got the Olympics, baby. So, great moment in golf. Sam Ryder's hole-in-one. Craziness at 16 at Phoenix. That was
I have a feeling.
Fantastic.
I have a feeling that those celebrations because there was another one yesterday. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Ortiz had one yesterday morning, and so there were two, and they reacted the same way. And I have a feeling that kind of celebration will be discouraged moving forward.
I don't think so.
Well, I don't know.
They've built the
somebody eventually is going to get clocked in the side of the head with a 3/4 full tall boy, and it will end. I'm telling you.
They've built it higher and higher and higher. So
those are missiles coming. That's what. Listen, it is funny because of the situation that provokes it. That happens in Cleveland at a Jags game, and the world shuts down. It happens there in Celebration. What is the difference? They are firing full beer cans.
Well, they're not throwing them at people, I
Well,
guess.
still, there's too many people. Look, I'm not saying don't do it. I thought it was fun, too.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine that the stuffed shirts on PGA Tour are going to say, yeah, just a hail of empty and half-full beer cans.
I tell you what, the network it was encouraged.
Yeah,
if anything,
I know,
we're covering
I
it.
know.
We've got our people down here right on the
They tried yesterday
pole.
morning with Ortiz's, though, to get him to not do it. I saw the security. They're doing this. They were trying to get him to do this. But the part I like the most is when they just throw all the liquid out. That was cool.
Yeah.
But when you start throwing beer cans from 12 rows up, something bad's going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
Right? I'm okay riding it out till it does.
Yeah. You know what? Caddies, take cover, boys. Take cover. That's the way it goes.
It's going to be poor Amanda Balionis is going to take one in the orbital bone, and that'll be the end of it. I guess she almost got hit. Did you see that? They showed the next day the coverage. She's sitting there with Colt Knost, right?
Yeah.
And they're sitting like back off the tee, just going over notes, barely paying attention. And Knost happened to turn around and watch the guy hit his tee shot, and Ryder hit his tee shot. He saw it goes in, he starts going crazy, and then Balionis is like, what? And then all of a sudden they're like,
well, I'll say
mortar
this.
fire.
I watched one on social media where it was the Scottsdale police officer. And he was like, "This is great. We just want to encourage you to, if you're drinking and to get a ride home. We got stuff happening behind us all the time. Here's a golfer hitting a shot right now. Oh, let's look. Oh my God, it's in the hole!" And he's throwing his hands up. Things are flying by him, and he's loving it. And everybody. So I don't know. It's kind of what they listen.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But I will say this. Okay, first of all, there's never any hold. We haven't had one in 15 years. We don't really need to be worrying about this. But my thought is what's going to happen is it's going to translate to when the guy hits the best shot, they're going to react similarly.
Well, maybe.
I will say this, though. If you allow people to throw 3/4 full beer cans, someone at some point is going to get hit. That'll happen.
Empty your beer before you throw it. Tiger Woods once made a hole in there. Could you imagine if he did that now?
Yeah, that changed, right? They weren't throwing stuff at him.
Blow the roof off. Scotty Scheffler with a nice W. Nice W because I had him in the thing.
Yeah,
so
for you. I did not. So
oh dear.
The GTH, Scotty Scheffler.
Scotty
GTH.
Scheffler, well done.
Here's what I took.
Although he had a nice putt on 18 to win it, and he missed it. And I was like, oh,
here's what I took out of the tournament for the weekend. Okay, this is what I most took from the tournament. This has happened, I know to you, it's happened to me some, but have you ever been walking down the street and somebody will go, "Hey, Phil Amato," or "Hey, Sam Kavar"? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They misname you.
Yeah.
Does that irk you a little bit when that happens? Do you just roll your eyes?
Only when they do it on purpose.
Okay, well, because here's what's going to happen for my man Sahith Theegala.
Yeah.
The whole world is going to think that cat is Tony Finau for about a month. So whenever he goes on to go, "Hey, Finau," they're going to be yelling at him. I mean, he's built tall and lanky. He's got similar complexion. He wears that flat-billed cap, and his shoe size is like 100. So Sahith Theegala, who's the college golf player of the year, has got a terrific career in front of him. Yeah, there's going to be he's put him in the same group with Tony Finau. You're not going to know which one to follow.
Interesting.
They really look like each other.
I thought that, look, Carson Wentz failed spectacularly here in Jacksonville, but if you go look at his numbers, they weren't bad. He had 27 touchdowns and 7 picks. Something else must be going on there. I don't know if it, that
he went bad down. I'll tell you what went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't beat the Colts want Carson Wentz to win him a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't beat the Jaguars in Jacksonville.
No, I get it.
It's literally one game I think is going to cost him his career there.
Wow.
He hadn't been good down the stretch. I bet his last month wasn't as good as his overall numbers.
Yeah.
Because there was another game they lost, they shouldn't, at home to the Raiders. He wasn't good that day either.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was ironic because remember we had Dan when Jeff was off, we had Sal Pal on, and he sort of pinned the kind of the demise of the Doug Peterson era in Philadelphia on Wentz.
Well, and there was this thought when Wentz went to Indy because of his relationship with Frank Reich that would work out. At the end of the day, though, the Colts were in great shape, and they've got a home game against Las Vegas, and they've got a game at Jacksonville, and they lost both of them.
Yeah.
I mean, and Wentz against the QBR 27 against the Raiders, 16-27, 148, 1 touchdown.
Tony Dungy talked about something. They were discussing the Rooney Rule on the pregame, and I thought was a really good point. And I'm starting to think it's like this with everything now in sport, especially in the football world. Man, it's not just forget minority and for a second, and it's just that you get an opportunity. You get like a year and you're done. You get 2 years and you're done. I mean, don't you want to grow with Kyler Murray? You made him your first overall pick. We're going to turn around and trade him. Carson Wentz, we got a year. We'll discard him.
Well, Kyler Murray's on Kyler Murray.
Dungy's point was more so with the coaches. Like, my gosh, these coaches, like this Zach Taylor dude who you want fired. I mean, but he got him to the Super Bowl. He would have been gone, and a lot of people probably wanted him out. He had 6 wins in 2 years. That was the worst 2-year span before a team were to get the Super Bowl in the history of the league. But it's just, and one of the reasons he said he wanted to come to Cincinnati is because he knew the owner was patient. And the guy he gave Marvin Lewis all those years. Remember Marvin Lewis? Doesn't Marvin Lewis have like 7 playoff losses and no playoff wins?
I don't know if it's 7, but he had a lot.
Yeah.
It may be 7. They went 4 or 5 years in a row, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was just an interesting, like, and it's funny because Shad Khan, if he's guilty of anything here, is giving guys too long. He's 0-7 in the postseason, bro. Marvin Lewis.
Yeah.
He lost 5 straight years, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Lost in 9 and lost in 5. Left Cincinnati, though, with a winning record, 131 and 122. So, good coach. He just couldn't win playoff games, man.
Yeah.
Remember he lost to Houston 2 times?
Sure.
Just, golly.
Remember those Steelers games?
Well, the Carson Palmer game.
If you would have asked me, I would have said they won. I thought they would have won a wild card game and then lost a divisional game because a couple of those Bengals teams were good.
Yeah,
like they lost home games. A couple of those were home losses.
They had a 12 and it was Carson Palmer game, right?
Yeah. Well, and then Dalton took them 2 or 3 years in a row, I think.
Yeah. What was the one 4 years ago? They lost to the Steelers in the wild card game. That had to be at home.
That's Dalton. That's a home. Yeah, that's Marvin Lewis.
Was that the Antonio Brown?
I think so. The Burfict lit him up.
Yeah.
Is that 17 season? No, 18?
15.
15.
Yeah.
So it's more than 4 years ago. It's 6 years ago.
Oh, yeah. And then they lost to the Steelers in 05 in the wild card game.
05 or 15?
05 and 15.
Oh. Dalton must have been hurt. That was an A.J. McCarron game.
Really?
23 or 41 for 212.
Yeesh. I mean, you make the playoffs and you got to go with a backup quarterback. You know you're done, and that's the unfortunate thing. And see, people don't remember that. We just remember 0-7. The point that Dungy was making was we're so quick now in this day and age to change those. You know, you get a year, you get So anyway, I thought that was interesting. Like you would think, and it made me think about it with the Kyler Murray thing. He's only been there 2 years. He's a young guy. Maybe he is immature. Maybe he's got to mature. Maybe at one point he'll say, that's on me. Who knows? I don't know. But we'll see what happens going forward. So, Peter King writes, Guinnesses with Tony Baselli. Shared some Friday afternoon at an Irish pub downtown as he basked in making the Hall of Fame. I said backed, as he basked in making the Hall of Fame. So whenever this happens, of course, it's emotional for the enshrinees, and Baselli was positively euphoric a day after it all became official. Not so a year ago. Last year when then Hall President David Baker called Baselli to tell him he didn't make it, Baselli was more than a little disappointed. He knew last year was probably the last time he'd be able to share such great news with his dad. Tony Sr. was seriously ill with melanoma that spread to his liver, lungs, and brain. Baselli Sr. died May 31st, so Baselli got the good news when his idol, fellow ex-USC left tackle Anthony Munoz, knocked on his door. It shocked Baselli. What a moment, euphoria. The one missing element was that Baselli's biggest supporter and role model, his dad, wasn't there to see it. Fast forward to the reception the Jags had for him at USC's Heritage Hall an hour after the world found out. Scores of former teammates, friends, and family packed into the place, and a video from the close to him played for 24 minutes. The last person in the video, Tony Baselli Sr.
I know Tony wishes his dad was there. He idolized his dad. He was his hero.
Yeah.
I mean, and your dad's a hero. Listen to my boys right now driving in. Maybe you should adopt the same theory.
Yeah.
But it was very sad.
That was nice.
This could have come at a nice year for Tony because that really did. As most people losing their parents come.
He shot it 12 days before he passed, and it was his wife Angie's idea. What a great idea to have that for him. And
shout out to Ange for keeping the secret for 10 days. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. That was good. That's a nice story.
Yeah, 100%. And again, unfortunately, as we could all imagine, the big fella will be more incorrigible than ever. I've already received a list of demands for breakfast with Baselli.
What are some of the demands?
Well, number one, he will be introduced every time. If we say Tony, we have to say Pro Football Hall of Famer Tony.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you're he specified in the course of conversation, if my name comes up, it must be preceded by Pro Football Hall of Famer.
Well, at some point, we've got to monetize.
I mean, just immediately.
Otherwise, what's the point?
I mean, let's cut to the chase. The elephant in the room, we're probably on the backside of the Breakfast with Pacelli's. I don't think there'll be many more of them.
Well, Breakfast with a Hall of Famer, maybe, and then the ching that goes along with that.
That's what I mean. He's going to monetize, and he's going to ask for a lot more that this radio station
Did you see the
won't
look
be willing
on?
To pay.
Did you watch the Munoz interaction with Tony?
Yes.
Did you see the crushed look on Tony's face when Munoz told him how unbelievably busy he's going to be for the next 4 months? He got this look on.
For a moment, it was like, oh, God.
Yeah, maybe the corporate world days will be over, Big Tone, once he learns he can just go do speeches for $30,000 a pop. Do about 3 a week, right? We're getting $100,000 a week, my man. Yeah, Tony needs 100% a marketing agent. He needs to leave his high finance and corporate boardroom mentality. He needs to get back to what he is, a grinder.
Hey,
grind out that speech.
Tune in August for our great new feature, Munching with Meester.
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah,
got to get somebody local. Local.
It's coming.
That's the 10-minute drill. Tell them what they won, Danny.
I don't know what they won, but I know if you're caller number 2, Beef will tell you what you won at 641-1010.
Caller number 2 right now, 641-1010, going to go home with a pair of tickets to the Next Era Energy 250 coming up at Daytona on February 18th, 641-1010. Or, as a bonus, also text the keyword Speed Weeks to 641-1010, and you'll be entered for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, coming up this weekend. Call now, 641-1010.